Hiya! Hello everyone, welcome on in, welcome on in. Let's get you in. Let's get you in. We're going to be making chocolate brownies today. I can't remember when I first made these. I think it was for someone's birthday. Someone asked me to make them. Did a little bit of searching, found this recipe, and went down really well. This is a BBC Good Foods recipe. For anyone who's who's familiar with that, I have posted the link to the recipe in Discord if anyone wants it. So you're more than welcome to use that to follow along. But yeah, we'll just kind of make a start. As I kind of said during the planning bit, I haven't done any kind of prep or anything. I've got all the ingredients in front of me that's just in jars and what have you. So that's going to be our first step, is just to get everything ready. I'm going to be baking double the amount of mixture. Reason being that on Saturdays, us and pals we go to each other's to play D&D and tabletop RPGs, and every time I bring these brownies they seem to go down very well. So we're going to be doing that again. That's the kind of plan. So let's get a start on that. I'm just going to work from the top and down because that's the way my silly brain works. So I need 150 grams of butter. So I'm going to be doing double the mixture just to make double the amount of brownies, because the brownies seem to have gone down very well every time I've made them so far. I never do this bit particularly quickly. I suppose it's kind of my baking style, if I'm honest, as I'm quite... That was our butter. Next is our light soft brown sugar. Get sugar out. Get a big bowl for that. So we need normal size bowl. We need 75 grams normally, so we're doubling that to 150. And I've got a nice big jar of sugar here. Get a little spoon. Here we go. The only downside of me being out here is I can't listen to the tunes out here. It's a bit sad. Never mind. Sugar. I'm also the type of person that lays everything out left to right. Really nice, neatly and nicely organised. How gross is that? That is our sugar done. So now we want our chocolate. So normally you want 150 grams. I'm going to go in with 300. To do that, I've got a lovely big bar of dairy milk, because it's got to be done. And you're going to want to break it into the individual cubes. Everybody loves cubes. I'm just going to re-angle the camera. There we go. Just so you can see what I'm doing. This is cozy, isn't it? Baking with lo-fi. Why didn't we do this before? Here we go. That's a whole bar of chocolate just broken into its cubes. That's like 2 grams extra, but who's counting? I'm going to pinch the rest. I made the very naughty choice of buying a whole lovely box of cream eggs earlier, which I'm going to have as my little post-stream snack a bit later. What's your favourite type of chocolate? Oh, well, I like all forms of chocolate to begin with, other than chocolate has nuts in it, because I don't like nuts, because I'm weird like that. As ironic as that is. To eat, like just eat generally, it has to be dark chocolate for me. Otherwise, it has to be Cadbury. It has to be Cadbury chocolate. Anyone who knows me knows that if I eat any kind of other brands of chocolate, like Nestle chocolate, for some reason eating that just makes me feel sick. But and I say Easter's coming, so we do love some creamy eggs. I went for creamy eggs rather than mini eggs this time. It's mini eggs for me. They are the best. They are legendary. It's the best time of year for that. Okay, what's next? 1 tablespoon of golden syrup. If you've ever baked with, that's the worst. I'm just going to open that. I'm going to measure that when I need it, just so I don't have to touch it too much. Ugh, the orange ones are amazing. Oh, I've not tried the orange ones yet. I have to get me some of those. Why can I get these bloody things open? Supermarkets. Why are we using mini eggs? Would be nice if they didn't cost £1,000. True, but they're worth it. They'd be worth the £1,000. How much do I need of the golden syrup again? Sorry, tablespoon. Let's get a new spoon. Oh, I'm so glad. And yes, 84 quid for a little bag in this economy. Yeah, as bad as Freddo's. But we don't want to start, oh God, do we want to open that can of worms and start talking about Freddos? Freddo inflation is real. Sip of tea, everyone. Make sure we're hydrating. Hydration's for all. Okay, so that's our golden syrup ready for next. We need, you're going to need 3 eggs. I'm going to use 6 for me because I'm doing double. Then I tip them in one by one. We've got our lovely only metal, like fully like metal knife, which has been dubbed as the egg knife. Thank you for rolling time. What did you get? You ordered 14. That's not bad. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Probably shouldn't say this on a baking stream, to be honest, thinking about it really, but I discovered this week that I can't multitask. Twice this week I have started cooking something in the kitchen. I've gone to my computer to do something else in the other room in our little office, and I've successfully managed to burn two dinners, or 2 things. One of which was quite scary because the room was quite smoky when I eventually remembered and came back in here. My heart like jumped out my stomach. Scary. They should make a baking TT. They really should. I think baking, like, should be more baking games, to be honest. So there's our 6 eggs. So we need 125 grams of caster sugar, but as we're doubling that, we're going to get 250 grams instead. Back to our scales. 250 grams of this. There we have golden caster sugar. You then need a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I've got a bottle of it here. I did buy a different bottle, but unfortunately this got subbed. Excellent, but oh well. Vanilla extract is vanilla extract, so we'll take it. We need a teaspoon of it. I'm just going to get a teaspoon out and keep it here just so that we're ready for when we need it. After that, we want 150 grams plain flour. I'm doubling it to 300, so here we go. Nice big jar of flour. I also have this little contraption here. You can see that. Let's shimmy that so you can see it a bit better. This was an incredibly cheap little tool I bought from IKEA, I think. Yeah, IKEA, because it's still got the label on it. What's it called? That doesn't have a name. That's unusual for an IKEA product. What it does is it sticks the flour for you, but you can just hold it and do this. So I don't have to worry about it. But sewing is a pain. So what I tend to do is put the jar on your scales. Just zero that. Hold this over it with one hand, and then I scoop the flour into this one. I kind of wish I had three hands to make this a bit easier. Here we go, 300 grams of flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, which again I've got a nice little jar of baking powder here. Dr. Oetker, of course. I wonder who he actually is. I bet he's just some, like, old guy. I'm also going to measure that out when I need it rather than now. You then need 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, which again I'm also going to measure a bit later. Oh, there's nothing nicer. The best thing about baking is just when you give people something that you've baked and they just love it, and just seeing like people enjoy it. That brings me so much joy. So what I'm going to do is you need 3 teaspoons of cocoa powder. I'm going to be doing 50% of the black cocoa powder to the normal cocoa powder. But again, using the normal cocoa powder is absolutely fine. I got this stuff off of Amazon. I don't think it's available in normal supermarkets at the moment. You then need 4 to 6 tablespoons of either dulce de leche, caramel or chocolate and hazelnut spread, or something like that. We've got a lovely jar of Nutella, which my partner is going to absolutely love. I do not like Nutella, but I don't mind it in these brownies. Something about it just tastes lovely. Another reason I hate Nutella is these lids. Why? They're just the worst things ever. Dr. Oetker was a German guy from the late 1800s who revolutionized baking, apparently. Oh, how did he do that? Did he invent baking powder? Is that what he did? Was that his contributions? Imagine like just him inventing something and like, wow. That's a wild thought. That is everything ready now. So now we can kind of get started. Right, I'm gonna bring you back up a sec. Oh, my phone's nice and warm. There we go. Bring up just a tad. There we are. I'm reading their website. Ooh. Let me know what goodies you find. Okay, so now you've got everything together. Now we can kind of start our little bake. So first things first, of course, you're going to want to preheat the oven. For this recipe, you're going to want to preheat it to 180 degrees Celsius or 160 degrees Celsius for a fan. And that is also gas mark 4. Sorry for anyone who doesn't use Celsius. I'm in the UK, so we use degrees Celsius, I'm afraid. A lot of baking though is just keeping an eye on things and knowing when something's ready, I suppose. So first things first, you're going to want to line the square baking tin with baking parchment, or you can use butter or something like that if you want to. With our 2 tins. As I said, I've doubled the recipe because I'm doing both. Yeah. Sorry if this is really rustly. But as quick as I can. I probably did that way too big, but anyway. Now I'll just use the rest of that, shall I? I've got that song in my head. Right, whoop. So much over the past few days. Then you're probably going to want something to weigh it down. Where's my bag? That's why I've left these lovely bags out. Just to stick that in place. There we go. So now we've lined our cake tins. Let's move on. So first things first is you're going to want to melt together your butter, brown sugar, chocolate and golden syrup very gently on a low heat. So for this you're going to want a saucepan. I've got my tea towel. Oh god. Always lose my flipping tea towel. Here we go. So all you're going to do is just literally dump everything into the pan. So that is just to reconfirm that again, you're going to want to melt together the butter. Here's all our butter. In we go. Highly recommend these silicone scrapers too. Just for getting every little last bit out. Whoop. Whoop. There. Any more? Okay, so that was our butter. Next we need the brown sugar. Brown sugar. In we go. Our chocolate. And then it's the golden syrup. As I didn't measure this up before, just going to double check, sorry. So it was table 1 teaspoon, we're doubling this, so we're now going to use 2. And absolutely hate working with golden syrup. Why hasn't anyone invented an alternative to golden syrup yet? I tend to use 2 spoons at the same time to scrape it off. Oh, ads are starting. We're on 3 minutes of ads. Thank you very much for the support. Very appreciate it. There we go. That's 1 tablespoon. From number 2. There we go. God, it's just so sticky. I will never touch golden syrup with my hands if I can avoid it. My God. My God. There we go. You kind of dump those in there. Okay, so you're going to want to heat this on a low heat on the hob. So I'm just going to move you over. Move these to this side. To this over here. Over there. I'm just going to stick that on a low heat. Then just going to bring you over here too. Just going to move you. Hope you don't mind me touching you. There we go. So I've just got it on a really low temperature, just to give it some time to heat up. Starting to get a little bit of melting going on. Let's give it a little mix. keep giving it a little bit of a stir. It'll slowly get there, as you can see. Now there are certain bits in baking that take a while, and this is one of them. Patience is key. It's probably a good time to actually speak about, I suppose, my baking history. I've kind of been baking all my life, to be honest, to at different points. So my grandparents were quite into baking. They all kind of baked in their different ways, I suppose. And I've got 3 sets of grandparents, or had, should I say. Some of them aren't with us anymore, I'm afraid. So one of them does more like savoury stuff. They either do pies or they do trifles, which is a very two things, two very different ends of the spectrum, and that's kind of the only 2 things I've ever really seen from memory that I've seen them bake. To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen them do anything else. They say that they do more than they do, but I've never seen it myself. Then we had my other nan, who was all about baking cakes. And then my other nan was also a cake baker, and their cake was a lemon cake. That was their kind of iconic thing. Fruit and lemon cake is their 2 things that they did. And the entire family absolutely loves lemon, so it was always loved. That kind of passed on to me, I suppose, the whole lemon situation. Whenever like a family event comes up, it's always, oh, can you do a lemon cake? What could you do a lemon cake? Yeah, so I kind of had that throughout my entire childhood. Let's give it another stir. We're almost there. I've just got a couple lumps I can feel when I'm stirring. There we go. I'm happy that all of that's melted now, so I'm just going to take that off the heat and turn the hob off. The recipe says just to kind of leave it. I would give it an occasional stir, but I don't think it particularly matters too much. I'm just going to leave it over here. So we're going to bring you back over to the mixer. Here we go. So now we're back over here. Let's move on. So the recipe wants you now to whisk together the eggs and the caster sugar in a large bowl until light and fluffy. Just kind of an egg soup at the minute. You can see it's got like a bit of a froth. I can't quite say that word. Froth to it. See, jiggle. I think that's happy. I'm happy with that. What you're going to do next is you're going to add the vanilla extract. So again, from before, I didn't measure it out. You need 1 teaspoon of it, so I'm going to use 2. So here's our vanilla. Oh, I love that noise of opening a fresh bottle of vanilla extract. It smells so good. Okay, there's 1. And there's 2. Go. I'm also the type of baker that puts things away as I don't need it anymore, as an indication of how far through I am in the bake. Does anyone else do that? After the vanilla extract, you're then going to want to sift in your flour. I sift it when I measured it out beforehand. So I've got my bowl of flour just here. You can also take your whisk head of your mixer off, as you don't need it anymore. So we're going to be swapping over to the cake one instead. Here we go. As always, with any kind of flour, you're going to want to add it a bit at a time, so you don't make a complete mess of the place. And a lot more like a cake batter now, which is lovely. Last bit of the flour now. There we go. That'll do. Oh, I love seeing the batter just roll off. Lovely. Next, you're going to want to add the baking powder. So again, just as before, I didn't measure this out just because it's a bit of a pain. So you normally need half a teaspoon. I've doubled the mixture, so I'm going to need a full teaspoon. Just going to wash off the spoon from the vanilla. And of course I splash myself with water in the process. Here we go. It looks so good. I'm glad. Very much appreciate that. Having not baked in a while, I'm really quite enjoying this. Quite enjoying this indeed. This was a great idea. There we go. In that goes. And I don't need the baking powder anymore. That can go on the side. And now, what do we need? Next is the cocoa powder. Here we are with our cocoa powder. This is another one that goes cocoa everywhere. Ah, it smells always so good. So you want, I've doubled it, so I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of normal cocoa powder. There we go. And voila, there we are. There's our black cocoa powder. Just before, I'm going to mix it really slowly, just to get that integrated into the mixture. Here we are. Oh, look at that. Delicious. Once you've got that all mixed up, now we're going to add the soup from before. Just want to pour the soup into the mix. There we go. So we're going in for another mix. Again, starting slow so it doesn't absolutely go everywhere. There we go. So I think that's fully mixed now. We're just going to have a little look at it. Let's have a little look. What have I done with the soup? Me waiting for it to mix. Now look at that team. Oh, smells so good too. Tasty. Generally give it a little mix at the end by hand. I don't know why I always do that, because it's a mixer. It does that bit for you. Here we go. Once you've got it all out, then we can now start to fit it in our tin. Just get those out again. I'm going to give you a little bit, so I'll have to twist you about a bit, so I'm going to touch you again. Hope you don't mind. Here we are. So here we are, we've got our 2-lined cake tins here. What you're going to do is going to mix half of each cake, the batter, into each cake tin, and then you're going to add whatever of the mixture you chose to go into the middle. So we've got Nutella here. We're going to add a little scoops into the middle of it before we then add the other half of the mixture. Highly recommend getting it like an ice cream scoop or something like this. Mine's unfortunately broken, but here we are. We poured out roughly about half the mixture into each tin. Now you're going to add your whatever you're adding into the middle of it. So I'm doing Nutella. This is the good bit because the recipe says kind of gives you a choice really on how much you want to add. Excuse me, I've got hiccups or something now. God's sake. The recipe says 4 to 6 tablespoons, so it's up to you how much you want to add. We love it, so we're going to add probably a little bit more than that. Then you can really just scoop away, and look at that. Yummy. Well, not yummy because I don't like Nutella, but hey. Hey ho. And what you're going to do is just literally dollop it into the mixture. What I like to do is like stretch it like this, just to spread it out on the inside, just like that. And so you can kind of add as much as you want to be honest, depending on your preference. Whoops. So try not to get it mixed into the batter, but it doesn't really matter if you do, to be honest. Give it a good swirl on that. Then we'll go on to the other one. I tried to spread it out a bit evenly, it doesn't quite work. And now we're ready to put the rest of it in. Once you've done your halfway little mix, now you can just add, go ham. Add all. So I'm going to make a mess again. Give it a little shake, a little bit of a tap, and then pop them in the oven. In goes one. In goes two. Are you going to point the camera at the oven while they cook? Would you like me to? I'm not sure if my phone's got enough battery left on it, but I can certainly try and do that if that's what you'd like. It takes 30 minutes according to the recipe. I do apologise. I don't know where I got that 20 minutes from. But I put in twice as much, so it might take a little bit longer than that.
Hi everyone, just swapping over to a voiceover for this part of the video. Unfortunately, the audio from this bit was completely unusable. I think my mic had just died by that point, so apologies for that. Well, all I've done is once the brownies came out of the oven, I've left them in the tins to cool just for 5 to 10 minutes, just to give them that little bit of cooling time before removing them from the tins, as you can see me doing on the screen. And here we are, the finished brownies. These were absolutely delicious. I highly recommend the recipe, and I really hope you've enjoyed this little bake-along. Despite the technical difficulties we've had, it was a massive success. I'm really happy with how it turned out. If anyone does happen to bake these brownies after this video goes out, please feel free to post a picture of them in our Discord. The link will be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you, and hopefully see you soon. Take care. Bye.